In this professionally designed cosmetic kit, we've carefully selected 30 items to meet the unique needs of In this professionally designed cosmetic kit, we've carefully selected 30 items to meet the unique needs of modern morticians. Each component is meticulously chosen to elevate the art of cosmetizing decedents. Let's start with our innovative cream foundation line. It's not just versatile, it's vegan too, making it perfect for those seeking a natural or green disposition. We've crafted 8 foundation colors, from fair to rich brown hues, alongside 2 warmer blush colors for enhancing natural variegation. For masking discolorations, we offer 3 color correctors that include lavender, mint, and turmeric, which can be applied prior to a flawless foundation application. Worried about makeup smudging during sensitive moments with families approaching and touching their loved ones? We've got you covered with our setting spray. It locks in our cream cosmetics, ensuring they stay put for viewings and visitations. And you know what? Say goodbye to triangular sponges. Our kit includes a dynamic beauty blender for a smooth application, even in hard-to-reach areas. Our natural lip color blends seamlessly with our foundation line, offering a matte finish that suits all genders. Easily gloss it up for a more vibrant or healthy look. Our eyeshadow palette features natural skin and hair colors, ideal for restorative touch-ups and enhancing natural features. We offer a wide range of brushes, designed for comfort and convenience, ensuring your varying needs are met. And precision is key. Our eyebrow razors assist with shaving hard-to-reach hairs, reducing razor burn and facilitating dermaplaning. Tech Bond and Aran Alpha are here to save the day, offering quick drying solutions for your glue needs along with versatile restorative applications. Our metal instrument kit includes spatulas, an aneurysm hook, and sharp scissors, ideal for intricate work and hairstyling. Achieve hairstyling perfection with our parting comb, designed with a sectioning end for creating various styles and updos. And our nail board isn't just for nails. It smooths out dried tissue, essential for restorative work. And keep your brushes clean with our washcloth, also handy for testing your airbrush system. And protect casket liners and fabric with our washable makeup bid, with the dimensions designed strategically to drape over the side of a casket for those cosmetizing decedents within. And all these meticulously chosen items are neatly organized in our versatile and adjustable cosmetic case. It maintains a professional appearance that can be taken anywhere, ensuring you have everything you need to complete your cosmetic work. Hi everyone, this is Amanda here. I have my camera turned to my palette, as you can see, but I'm here, hi, waving. I've got it strategically placed in the oh gosh, the holder. So I don't want to mess it up and turn it to me, but hello, I'm here. Welcome everyone. This is Mortuary Color Theory using Frigid Cosmetics. This is our live mixology webinar, and this is one of my favorites. We get to mix different colors for decedents in real time, make mistakes in real time, fix those mistakes in real time, and just learn how we can use color theory to, truly help families. We've also got Chris here helping me. If you guys have questions, you can put them in the chat box or messages, and he will read them to me. Feel free to ask questions as we go through it, and I'm happy to answer them for you and make it more conversational, because if you have questions, I guarantee someone else might as well too. So yeah, my name is Amanda. I'm an embalming specialist with Frigid Fluid, and I'm full-time licensed field director embalmer as well. And I had the amazing opportunity to help Frigid develop their cosmetic line and cosmetic kit. So we're going to be using their colors today, and I'll show you a little bit of the kit as well. You can see there on the screen, what the case looks like. We got a whole comprehensive kit, which is awesome, in a beautiful case. So it's very professional looking. Whether you're doing cosmetics in front of family or at a place of worship, it's not like you're bringing a tackle box in. It looks very nice. And you'll see they're lined up on the bottom. We have a bunch of bright colors now. I call them our advanced color correctors. And I've got a bunch here with me today, and we're going to use them for blending purposes to reach different hues for different decedents. A little bit about, just basic biology of, human color. We have different skin colors mainly because our melanocytes produce different amounts of melanin, and that's where you get the range of different skin colors. We want to make sure that no matter what skin color an individual has, you've got the correct colors and tools to be able to achieve that for families, so they can look like their most natural self. The other thing about our cream cosmetics is that we've got a setting spray that works wonderfully with them. You do not need to worry about family members coming up, touching them, loving them, kissing on them, and having the cosmetic wipe away. So I've got some of the colors here out today. What I'm going to do is I've got, you can't put a decedent on the webinar, but I've got some pictures printed out of different decedents that we're going to simulate doing cosmetics for. And I'm just going to show you how I'm going to go about mixing them based on their undertones and based on the different color variegation that I see within their face. Some information about our cream cosmetic line is that it is very, very versatile. So you can use it very opaquely. You can also use it very translucently. I'll show you. It's nice and creamy. You can see you can use it nice and thick, but you can also thin it out really well, which makes it also wonderful for both embalmed and unembalmed skin. And for, families today that want their loved ones to look like they have natural, makeup on, or look like they don't even have makeup on. They don't like that thick, caked on appearance. So we're going to go ahead and use these today. Let's see. They're also 100% vegan, which I think is amazing for all my natural burial friends and families. And they're water soluble, so they work well on both dry skin, which is super dry today, as well as oily skin, and they're easily blendable as well. I like this color chart that we put together because it shows the different undertones. So looking at individuals, we'll compare these two people. So for the prep room and for our purposes, I like to divide. Yep, Chris? I can't. I can't. Can you turn the camera thing? Can you? Well, I'm not. I'm standing here. Okay. Okay. So I apologize. I'm going to try and work upside down for you guys. Um, so we've got individuals that are, for the most part, either cool undertoned, which is that hand on the top of the chart, like this individual here. You've got a lot more of pinks and blues kind of coming through. And then you have individuals that are more warm undertoned, like the arm that's underneath on the chart, or this individual here, where you're seeing a lot of those oranges coming through. This is important when it comes to arterial fluid, embalming fluid, because for the most part, our active dyes usually lean towards, those pinks and reds, or they lean toward the suntans and oranges. So if you can get the correct intrinsic dye from the get-go, it's going to make your cosmetics so much easier down the road. And you'll also see, based on different undertones in that chart, the colors are going to look different. So you want to be able to know how to mix and adjust them based on the decedents you have. So I'm going to go ahead and use our advanced color correctors. I'm going to move these for a moment. In our kit, we've also got our brush pack, our brush case. We've got a whole line of different brushes, nice protector for the bristles. I'm going to go ahead and choose one of these smaller ones. This one I like to use a lot for this webinar. To go ahead and mix. As you can see, nice small tip. And I'm going to wipe off these colors. These are from last time that I was doing from my glass plate. So get that nice and clean. So let's start with this individual. So she has more of those cool undertones. So we've got a lot of those pinks shining through. We've got a variety of colors. There's 11 different foundation colors, but you're very rarely going to still use anything directly out of the jar. She is also has a light value of color. She's, her skin color is not very dark. It's very pale. You know, she would be a great candidate for using the rose color tone intrinsic dye with any fluid. I also think if I was using fluid based on intrinsic color too, I would lean towards that Tissue Guard 32. It's got that nice, a little bit extra pink color coming through. This is Ivory by Frigid. But just to show you right out, it's definitely got more of those warm undertones into it. If I were to go ahead and use this on her, it just wouldn't look correct. It's way too orange. So we need to go ahead and figure out how to get to her skin color. Knowing that she has cool undertone, I need to lean more towards pinks. Pinks or red. We've got red in our advanced color correctors, and this is our Peony Pink blush. This actually would be a great color for her to accentuate any of those red variegated areas or blush areas. But let's see, I can go ahead and we'll use this. We'll see if we can mix with this. I'm gonna move these ones. And then I'm also gonna have the red available too. So let me get out white as well, because we also have porcelain and we've got sandstone, which are lighter colors. But in this webinar, I like to restrict myself. What if I come into a prep room where I don't have my materials fully? I've only got my color correctors and they've got this in the drawer. I've only got ivory to use. So I'm gonna have white as well. And I'm gonna grab my palette knife as well. We've got this awesome kit of metal instruments. And within it, there's different instruments you can use for reconstructive purposes. but we've also got a spatula in there too. So I had already grabbed out the spatula to be able to use for blending purposes. And I'm gonna move these over. Okay. Chris, is she still in view? Okay, great. I'm gonna pull this even more. Okay, so there she is. She's laying in her casket. We're gonna pretend her eyes are closed. And I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this ivory, put it down. I'm gonna take a little bit of the red. You can see it's very saturated. With our advanced color correctors, they're super, super saturated, so you don't really need a lot. And this is our peony pink. So it's much more muted. It's a darker value, and also has, it's lighter, so it's also as if you got some white mixed in. And then I'm going to take some of the white too. So, taking my brush. So let's see. I only got the ivory. I do know that I need to make it lighter. So I'm going to mix that up. Right, I see that's lighter. I want a little bit more white. I still want it a little bit paler. Now I'm hoping that she was in embalming and I got to embalm her and use some of that rose color tone so that I really don't have to do much for cosmetics. Maybe I just need to make sure it's even or touch up some areas. So already I've made it much warmer, and I used the red. I did not use, as you can tell, the peony pink yet. I wanted to see where I could get with the red. So this is on me, that ivory color, and this is the color I just made. As you can see in comparison, it's much cooler. You've got much more of those pinks shining through. So putting it onto her, it's very bright. But again, and in the photo there is shadow. But this is much closer to her skin color than that ivory. Here, I'll do it on this side too, just to show you those two colors against each other on her. So as you can see, we definitely needed to make a cooler foundation color for her. It will look much more natural if you're doing cosmetics with people coming up to the casket. Now, that might be too dark for her too, and we can always add in more white. I love having the white on hand. It's so helpful. If anything, like if anyone is interested in being able to mix and blend their own colors, I think the most important and first color to get would be that white, just to have. So I'm going to take a little bit of it, blend it over here. Already I can see that it's much lighter. And go ahead. And that's even closer to her own skin color. So knowing that, I might use that as her foundation color and save this darker one for areas I want to variegate, such as around the nose, maybe under the eyes, if we're going for a natural look. So that's by using our ivory with the red and white. Now I'm just going to show you what it looks like if I were to do that mix with the peony pink instead of the red. We'll see where we get instead. So we've got the ivory, got the white again, making it lighter first. And then we'll mix in some of that peony pink. Now the peony pink is muted already, so we need to consider that. It's a darker value than that red. So already I can see in comparison, it is a darker color. So we might do that more on the side. And a little bit more. I mean, this might make a great color for the blush to blend in. If we were doing blush on the cheek, do it over here. It still would blend nicely with that. However, I think for her, going with that red, mixing it in with the white and the peony pink is definitely closer, or mixing it, the white with the ivory and the red is closer to her own skin color. Again, going back to that. That definitely looks more natural. Now, if I were putting this on her, I would apply it with a brush and I'd use a beauty blender to blend it in so that it blends seamlessly, and that you don't get a lot of these lines or streaks. I know it's hard because I'm doing it on a 2D surface on a piece of paper. Um, so that, as you can see, I used very little. So honestly, these jars are going to last you for a long time. They're tiny. They're little, just half-ounce jars, but it could last you years and years and years. Um, I've barely gone down in the red, and I've had this now for 2 years, I think. So a little bit goes a long way, as you can tell with the pigmentation and the saturation of color. Talking about the saturation of color. So when I teach mortuary color theory, I like to teach the Munsell color system rather than just the traditional color wheel. And the reason for that is that it not only talks about, opposing colors, or colors that we can use as color correctors, it also talks about the value of a color and the saturation or the chroma. So the way you break down that very nice rainbow disco ball is that you've got this trunk in the middle that is the value of a color going from light at the top to dark at the bottom. So for example, if we were comparing and contrasting the value of the red versus the peony pink, the red would be a lighter value and the peony pink is a darker value of a red. And then around that trunk, we've got different colors, and each color increases with chroma, or similar to saturation, as it goes outwards. And that's important for us because when we have a deceased individual, we are dealing with pallor mortis, which is the draining of color. So we need to reestablish that chroma. And when you're able to embalm someone, this is the perfect chance to reestablish that saturation through that intrinsic dye. And then afterwards, we can, make minor changes with cosmetics like we've done here. I like this image because I like to show how using just one color in the middle, I think I want to say for that image, I either used ivory or topaz for the middle. And then by using all our different color correctors, showing all the different colors that you can get to based on what you mix with. So you can get colors that are very warm for undertones or colors that are very cool for undertones based on if you're, doing red and orange or if you're doing blue or green for neutral as well. Um, so one thing I'd like to show is this is a great chart for browns. Neutral brown is right there in the middle. If you want to get to a warmer brown that's on the left, you're going to mix orange. If you want to get to a cooler brown on the right, you're going to mix blue. So I'll show you that real quick. Get rid of these colors for now. Man, I'm a messy embalmer. I get cosmetic everywhere all the time. And that's why I'm so glad that we have the cosmetic bib that goes over the side of the casket so we can protect all that um, uh, casket linen. So we've got blue, very pigmented, and we got orange. And let's use topaz. So topaz is a naturally warmer color. So the orange will just accentuate it and the blue will make it cooler. So go ahead. I'm gonna put some of that down so you can see. Topaz is a darker color too. And put some down with the orange, some down with the blue. Okay, the extra off. Okay, put some of the orange. Some of the blue. Okay, we'll go ahead and mix those. Made it very warm. Chris, what did you just say? Oh, hi, Bethany. Chris just told me you're saying hi in the chat. Hello. Okay. So we're mixing blue into it a little bit more. You see much more of a color difference. It's amazing how, with just the simple tools of a simple, tiny little jars of color, you can really be able to give a bigger breadth of cosmetic ability to the decedents you're serving. So I'm going to show you on my hand. Oh, well, we'll ignore those colors. Here's topaz on me. It's not my skin color. It's a little bit dark. But this is right out of the jar. And by mixing it with orange, we've got a warmer version of it. And by mixing it with blue, we've got a much cooler version of it. So I had done this on a video that you'll find on my Instagram, fun little mixing. But that was it in real time to be able to see, oh, there's my hand again. How the colors, you can get a breath of them based on what you might have. We also got two foundation colors, or two blush colors besides the peony pink. We also have a much more muted rose taupe, which is great for those decedents like the first individual that are maybe more pale, and you don't need a lot of pigmentation to add in. It's much more subtle. And when I'm teaching cosmetics as well, I always teach there are 4 areas that you need to color variegate. I think you might have heard me use that term a couple times now, but it's essentially making sure that we don't have a flat foundation color on the individual right across. The eyes, the nose, the ears, and the knuckles are areas that you want to make sure the color is changing based on the biology that's below them. So oftentimes those are areas where you're going to see a lot of capillaries, like you see right there on the cadaver of the nose, where the skin might be thinner, and you're going to see what those capillaries are doing underneath. So you're going to either get much more warmer version of their foundation color or a darker version of their own skin color based on their melanin content. Same thing with the ears. Our ears, we have so much color in it. Even by just adding a little bit of blush mixed into your foundation color, if you got, it's going to color variegate and make it look more realistic and more believable to people that are coming up to the casket and kneeling next to them and viewing them. I've seen a few decedents where I've gone up to the casket and it just looks off, and then I realize their ears have been colored the same as their foundation color, and it's all just flat. Our setting spray, like I mentioned, is extremely helpful to have. You can do it in between layers. As you're building up layers, you can do a layer, spritz it, and then make sure to keep working on top. You also didn't need to worry about people rubbing it off. We also have regular color correctors as well. The typical mint, lavender, and turmeric, so green, purple, yellow. For color correcting something like discoloration, like red, if someone's red from decomposition, or they've got that nice purple bruise on the viewing side hand. I joked on my Instagram, I broke my foot, and so it's all nice bruise colors. Right now I should be color correcting it, but then I was worried that feet people might get weird. So turmeric is great for that. I do want to say that if you have a light skin colored individual, you're going to want to use the turmeric to color correct over the bruise. If you have someone that's medium brown to dark brown, you actually want to use orange to color correct over bruising before doing the foundation color. And they're fairly translucent as well. So the goal of color correcting is you don't want to do a thick opaque coverage of it, because if you've got red rosacea and you want to color correct with green, you don't want to use bright green then to fight with. You want them to blend naturally. So they are fairly translucent, compared to other ones in the industry. These mimic more like color correcting primers out there in the makeup world, where it neutralizes the color. It brings down the intensity of like a red, for example, and looks more like browns that you then can do your foundation color over. This is a great example here to show how just, the simple translucency of green over red tones down that red tremendously, to then be able to do cosmetics over. And I just apply with a beauty blender, blend it out, spritz with the setting spray, let it dry, and then go ahead and do the foundation colors. So before we go into talking about lips, I'm going to show this guy. So he is my warm example. And for him, we could pretend our starting point is, let's see, as I drop it, I've got teak here, and I've also got hazelnut here. So I got teak and hazelnut. Um, he is very warm compared to either of these. There are some areas where he's lighter. There's some areas where he's darker because of the way the photograph is. So let's see if we can get to those different colors. I'm going to pretend that I only have hazelnut. Yes, Chris. Yep, Chris reminded me I am working upside down today. So let's see. So I'll show you right out of the gate. This is the wrong color for him. But I want to, again, I need to figure out how to make the correct color. That's the whole point of this. So if I were to take this right out of the jar, that is way too dark for him. I'll show it up close. Way too dark, wrong color completely. But what if this is all I have? So and take away the blue. I might need the orange. I might need the red. So I know I'm going to need the white for sure. That. Give myself some red. I'll give myself some orange. See where we're going to go with that. And then white, of course, too. Definitely need some white. The orange will definitely lighten it up a little bit too. But I definitely think I need some of that white. So, okay, I'm going to move him. Chris, is he still in the frame? Okay. So let's go ahead and mix. Okay. So here is our hazelnut. I think I said, yep, we're using hazelnut. And we'll go ahead and let's mix orange into that and see where that can get us. Already it made it lighter, I can see. So doing it onto here. We're going in the right direction. Still way too dark. So that's telling me, okay, let's start adding in that white. I added a lot of white. Now, my worry with adding white is that it brings you down on that value scale and it can actually desaturate the color too. So that might be where I need to bring back some of that red or that orange in. We might have desaturated and lightened it too much. So we'll do it on his forehead. Now his forehead is hard because it's light in the middle area there, and then it's more saturated on the out because of the way the photograph is. But we're getting closer. We're definitely lighter. I want more pigment in it though. So I'm going to go back to my color correctors, my advanced color correctors, those pigment holders, that's where I'm going to get my pigment from. And this time I mixed in some of the red too, because I can see that he's got more of those red undertones as well. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's looking a lot better. You can see where even compared to each other, the first colors I put on seemed more neutral, got more of those greenish undertones, whereas what I just put on has more of those red undertones. And I think that works nicely. Now, if I were trying to match the color in the shadow, I might add even more pigment to it. And maybe I'll add more of the hazelnut again as well. Make it a little bit, it might be too dark. We'll see. Um, I really like mixing on glass. I know a lot of people mix cosmetics on the back of the hands. For me, I get worried doing that because I'm worried I might accidentally touch something and get it onto the casket. I called a simple automotive shop, asked if they had some scrap glass, and they gave it to me for free. So I like to mix right on it. So right there, we're getting really close to those shadow colors. So what I did is I added in more of the hazelnut and more of the pigment of the red and the orange. I don't think I could achieve the color I need with just one of them, and I think I really do need both the orange and the red. So I'm going to go ahead now that I've got that closer to the color I want and add in the white again and see if I can get those lighter colors on the cheek. I like that. I think we're definitely getting closer again. I might bring in some more of that orange as well. Yep. So you can see there now, I've got closer to the colors that I need. It's almost getting lost within there. And again, this is hard because it's a photograph and you're seeing the light reflect on his face. But we also need to remember too that when we are cosmetizing, I'm gonna go back. When we are cosmetizing, we are doing it in the casket that has the different lights reflecting onto the body. So you might be able to have those red lights more focused on him, and that's going to change the color. Or you might have some of, a red and blue light to kind of neutralize, and you'll have more, control of it that way. Or maybe you're in an area where there's natural light. So you have to be mindful of the lights as well, and not just, how you view the body under fluorescent light, which, maybe the family is viewing under fluorescent light. Um, so just being mindful of different shades, different values. So again, the Munsell color tree, that middle area, the values light and dark, and not being afraid to mix. Going back to the original color that you might have, or some of the different pigments, just to alter it. And again, having that white on hand is so, so helpful. Yes, Chris. So we've got a question. Allison's asking if we always use cosmetics on the deceased. Not necessarily all the time. Sometimes I've been able to get that intrinsic dye color correct with embalming, and they didn't really need much. Maybe, just a little bit of airbrush or a little bit of cream cosmetic, maybe some blush. But if you're able to embalm and get that intrinsic dye correct, that is so extremely helpful. I'm not sure if that answers your question. Let's see. I'm going back with some of the red with that color and some of the white. Trying to get those highlighted areas correct. There we go. And blend it in more. Okay. So here's a warmer version. I'm using, red and orange in comparison to our cooler version, where I focus more on the reds and the pinks. You know, knowing straight out of the gate a certain color, getting used to blending is super important. I mean, you could have any color of decedent, on the table in front of you. I also wanted to be able to show our lip colors. So, I know I'm jumping ahead. I was really, really happy and grateful to be able to make a natural lip color, because I feel like that's one debate we have in our industry is like, especially for men, how to make them not look like they're wearing lipstick unless they wore lipstick in life. And what is that color? Now, our skin color also changes what our lip color would be. For individuals that are more light skin colored, you're probably going to have around, one color. But as you get to medium brown, dark brown, there's color variation in the lips as well. So the matte finish was important for me so that, it didn't look too glossy or like lipstick for men, and it's easily able to be glossed up with gloss or Vaseline if they need to look more hydrated. But we also put together this lip palette as well. And so this is our natural lip color in the top left. It's nice and subtle. It gives back that saturation to the lips you might need. When I am embalming, I make sure, again, I'm considerate of the lips getting the correct color. I'll do a humectant pack of humectant on a piece of rub roll that I'll wrap around the lips to bring out the color as well. But if I need to do any cosmetic on it, I love our matte lip color. On the screen, you'll see it on individual. For a man, it does not look like lipstick. It looks like, just a nice added saturation of color. These are a pair of lips I love to use as an example for, when you might need to mix colors together in order to get that color variegation on the lip. So maybe you are using some Castle Earth on the top for the top lip. And at the bottom lip, you're also blending it, I'm doing it on my hand, into the natural lip color, natural matte lip color to create some variegation. So I've got loose fingers today. So if I'm taking some of that and I'm blending it in together, as you can see, our lip color blends really nicely with our foundation color. You could mix it one to the other, but they blend really seamlessly. So they work together nicely. The other thing in our lip palette actually is that we've got a brown in it. I don't think I show. I don't. We actually have a brown right here that we included. So if you didn't have the Castle Earth or any of our foundation colors, you'd still have a brown that you could work with the natural matte color to do some color variegation. Okay. Our brushes, we got a plethora of brushes like I showed you. You can see all of them listed on our website if you want to know the different kinds. Our eyeshadow palette is also important because we did mostly browns, and that's for hair color so that you can do touch up along hairlines. If I can grab it out. I don't see. And then, of course, everything comes in the full kit, but you can also get it individually as well. We have starter kits available too. So if you didn't want to jump into having the full case and all the colors, you can get the starter kit and then add different colors as you need. The advanced color correctors are not in it, so they're great additions to have to the kit, and they're small. You can easily fit them in there. There's two different starter kits. We got the light tone and the dark tones, but again, you can always add in any colors that you need. Oh, there's my Mortuary lip palette. The other fun thing about it, I love too, is that it's magnetic. So you don't need to worry about it opening in your kit and getting color everywhere. As you can see, I'm already very messy. And yeah, you guys can reach me at any point. But if not, I can go ahead and do some more color mixing too. Another individual. Chris, are there any questions? Show blending on the hairline. So unfortunately, I don't know if I can do that right now because I don't have Well, I could use her. Hold on. I was gonna say that's really hard to do without someone with hair. I would use a beauty blender, and then I could use our eyeshadow to cover it if needed. But oh gosh, see, I'm already. Hold on one moment. Let me see if I can move stuff. Getting makeup all over. Okay, I am gonna put this. Take this away for a minute.
Can you do with a bruise?
Okay,
Can you do with
so
a
we got
bruise?
her. Let's see. Hold on one second. I'm out of table space. Okay. So if we've got her, I mean, it's hard because, it's a wig. It's not true. But if we were doing cosmetic, on her, so we're doing it on her and we get it into the hair a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to be messy. So, oh no, we got some into the hairline. Say there's some discoloration we have to cover, and we do need to get into the hairline. I am not stressed about getting any of this cosmetic in the hair. There's two different ways that we can solve this problem. One, and very importantly, I incorporated it into our brush kit, is, oh, and I took it out. Hold on. In our brush kit, we included a clean, essentially mascara brush. And the reason we did this is precisely because of this. Whether it's the hairline or maybe it's a beard or a nice 5 o'clock shadow, but you need to cosmetize under it, I would go ahead and dip the tip of my bristles into the cap of like dry hair cleaner. And what I could do is I can simply take it and comb it through the hair to get out the color. I'm not going to do that right now just because I don't want to ruin, I don't know if it's going to damage the silicone doll. The other thing that we could do is say that's not getting it all out. We could take the eyeshadow palette and I could take one of our eyeshadow brushes. So that would be like this one right here. And I would take some of the color from the eyeshadow palette, some of the brown, and I could literally just paint it right over the hair. Our eyeshadow palette it's not sparkly or anything, it's a nice matte color. And this is the reason why we chose browns and different hair colors in case you need to do touch up in the hair, or say there was a beard, you need to touch up any of the hair. It's a quick, easy fix. The other great thing is there's white in it, so if you got some cosmetic on their collar, say you can't get it out, you can go ahead and do some of the white eyeshadow over top of it and it will mask it really nicely. Does that answer your question? Okay. Chris is trying to read me a question about, I think, a bruise. Is that right, Chris? Chris, are they asking about, sorry, I cannot see the questions, everyone, so Chris is trying to read them to me behind the scenes. They're asking about bruise coverage. So I have done, I think I did that in our last mixology class. I don't think, yeah. What I do, I can do the color correcting one next time we do a live mixology, but what I do is I grab some of my kids' markers and I'll do like the purple over the the fake head, and I can do the color correcting on top. If it was this individual, for example, if she had a bruise, I would use the turmeric color corrector. I would use that turmeric there because it neutralizes purple and dark spots. And she is light skin colored. So I would go ahead, do the turmeric on top of the bruise, do a beauty blender, spritz it with the setting spray, let it dry. And then I would go ahead and do her foundation color over top. If she was medium brown or a dark brown individual, you know, even someone of this skin color, rather than using yellow to color correct, I would actually use the orange to color correct. So I can simulate that next time we do the mixology class for sure. But I just don't have my purple marker. Yes, Chris. Oh yeah, I can show the eye palette. Choo, choo, choo. There it is right there. You can see it on our website too. Let's see. I took it out and I apologize. I think I used it in a different simulation for another group, and I don't think I put it back in my, I did not. I don't have it right here in front of me, but those are the colors, and they're very true to color of what you're seeing on the actual page. The eyeshadow palette is also magnetic, so you don't need to worry about it opening in your case. It has a magnet close, and it is cardboard, which is biodegradable. Yay, environment. But I use it all the time. It's different versions of different browns. It's great for covering wig mesh. If you have a decedent with a wig and you can see the mesh very clearly, go ahead, use one of our foundation colors, and then put some of the eyeshadow color over top, and it blends into the hair really nicely. So we came out with our setting spray or fiber hold spray. It's got a spritz top. It's great for traveling with. This was really important for us because one of the complaints of using cream cosmetic in the mortuary field is, well, once you use it, people can't go up and, you know, touch and kiss their loved one. But with our cream cosmetic, with using the fiber hold spray, you know, come see us at conventions. We'll paint some color on your wrist or whatnot, tell you to go shower, and then come back the next day. That color's still going to be there. This fiber hold spray works wonderfully. And you can also use that as hairspray too. Dual purpose, and on its own, it's not very expensive at all. It's wonderful. Okay, so the question was, how do you incorporate a decedent's own makeup if the family brings it in for it to be used? You know, depending on the situation, I might be able to use it on them. And, you know, it depends on if they're embalmed or unembalmed and what, if there's any trauma or discoloration. But what I often do is I will take their regular cosmetic out of the tube, maybe put it on my palette or my hand, and I will mix my makeup to match theirs, and then put it on. So essentially, it matches the color that they're expecting that maybe their loved one used in life, whether it's fully correct or not. And then, of course, when it comes to, you know, eyeliner or lipstick or eyeshadow, go ahead and use their stuff. You know, but when it comes to foundation color, that's how I do it. I'll put some on my hand or glove and mix my color to match theirs before applying it if I feel like I cannot use theirs. I hope that answers it. For long-term embalming cases, what can be applied after completing the cosmetics? Um, First of all, I wouldn't be doing cosmetics until before viewing or services. But if you've got, you know, maybe you've got a viewing, first view, and then you've got 2 days before services, you can go ahead and spray some, you know, obviously the fiber hold spray or setting spray. But you could also use our Lanol Care if you're worried about hydration. The other thing that I do is I will simply, after I do cosmetics, lay a tissue over them so that there's no airflow that's hitting them that will accentuate any dehydration. Um, I have not had an issue with our cosmetics becoming dehydrated or cakey either. So that's been my experience so far. I hope that answers your question. If not, please reach out to me and we can talk about it. Yes, so I talk about using a nail file, not typically on nails. We've got a nail file in our kit. You can see right there behind the lipstick sticking out. So we decided to include an emery board for reconstructive purposes. I think my next, Chris, is my next webinar in February, my reconstructive elements webinar. Okay. I think it's you'll have to look on our website to sign up, but I do a webinar on all our reconstructive elements in the kit, and I talk about the nail file in depth. So if I have a case where the lips are very dehydrated, um, a perfect case for that would be if someone died by hanging. Oftentimes, you got the tongue sticking out or protruding, and the lips are very dehydrated and black. The other time you'll see it is stillbirths, especially if parents have been able to have a cuddle cot or a cooling board in the hospital for a few days to spend with their baby. What happens is the lips will dehydrate and get hard and dark. Um, Now, it's very hard to bring them back, but it is possible. Not only do I inject humectant from behind, I'll use the emery board and very carefully file the top layer of tissue on the lips down so that now they're starting to be a little bit more pliable. And then I'll do a piece of web roll with humectant sprayed on it and put it right over the lips as a pack. And I'll let it sit overnight. And I'm basically just trying to soften and hydrate those lips again. But the emery board allows for that. It's also great if you have any areas of dehydration that you just need to get rid of. Very gently just file it down. But the lips is the main area that I use it for dehydration to bring them back to life. I hope that answers your question. How do I prefer to treat cosmetic nail beds? Okay, Chris, sorry. Discolorated nail beds. So, if I'm embalming, I prefer to treat it that way. So, I fully believe in that. Uh, Here I can. You know what? I'm gonna do this, Chris. Do do do. Hold on. How do I get it back to me? Oh, there. Hi, everyone. Um, So nail beds, cyanosis, you got dark nail beds, discoloration. If you are embalming, that's how I'm going to fix the problem. I'm going to pre-inject and clear them. 9 times out of 10, that's successful. And I will tell you on even autopsy cases, I pre-inject on autopsy cases, which I know people think is a bit crazy because already you're doing a 6-point injection and now that means 12 points and that's just a lot of time. However, it makes your cases come out a world of difference. I do not need to worry about discoloration at all, especially for the head, fingertips, etc. If you say you get a shipping case and you didn't have control over the embalming, or maybe they're unembalmed and they've got cyanosis, you could color correct using our color correctors and do cosmetic that way. Make sure to do a setting spray, and I'm not worried about it coming off. But you could also, you could do nail polish as well. I know people that will inject phenol to bleach, so you could inject our cauterant to hypodermically under the nail beds to try and bleach it so it's at least lighter. But if you don't have it, look up your SDS sheets for any cavity fluid that has phenol in it. Phenol means bleaching. So just remember that. And that can help you with hopefully bleaching it a little bit and not having to do super heavy cosmetics. That also would be a situation where I actually airbrush. And I've airbrushed over nail beds before. Um, and it without, it doesn't look super caked on or thick. And I've not had a problem with that either. So I hope that answers that. I have no authority to do that, Chris. I think someone's asking for a discount in the chat for students. I wish I could, but I don't have any authority to do that. I just give out information. Oh, so what can be applied over restorative wax to seal moisture? You said, Chris? So I have not had a moisture issue with wax, so I'm curious what wax you might be using. Anytime I do any waxing, I actually mix wax with Vaseline to make what I call Vax, so that it's kind of stickier and it adheres to the surface better, especially for unembalmed bodies. But it also keeps those areas hydrated so that the surface area of dehydration doesn't expand. And then I also like a major reconstructive areas and stuff. I actually prefer to use silicone. So I don't need to worry, once it cures and sets, I don't need to worry about a family member touching them and accidentally creating an indent of, wax. Um, the silicone is nice and strong and you can do cosmetics right over top of it. Um, I have done our cream cosmetics over top of wax and I've not had an issue with the moisture. Um, so I'm just curious what wax you might be using, and that might be the moisture problem or issue. Um, you also could try and create a barrier in between by like spraying our fiber hold spray first before trying to do a layer of cosmetics and see if that works. Hell yeah. Um, Afterwards, I will put my input. Oh, sorry, I went too far. Sorry, Chris, I didn't hear you. Oh, someone was asking if there's going to be free samples. Sorry, I didn't just say hell yeah for nothing. I forget that you guys can't hear Chris when he's talking to me, so I apologize. Yes, someone asked if there's free samples. I am happy to mail them to you guys. Reach out to me, either email me or you can reach me on Instagram at amek_graphics. And I am happy to send, we've got awesome little cosmetic samples here that I can get right out in the mail to you. We've got Sandstone, which is one of our newer foundation colors. It's very light. I think it's the closest to white with pigment in it. So it's a great blendable color too to have. And then this is our color corrector turmeric. So if you've got light-skinned individuals with that bruise on I like an IV bruise on the viewing hand that every nurse loves to do, go ahead and try and color correct with this before doing your foundation colors to see how it works. But yeah, I'm happy to send these out to you guys. Okay, Chris, tell me that's the end of the questions in there. So again, take a picture of this. Feel free to reach out to me. Please make sure to subscribe to the Frigid Fluid YouTube channel. Like any of the videos, comment, drive some traffic to it. We want these videos to be accessible to all you guys at any point. So if you need help and need to go back and reference, you're able to. And just thank you guys for joining me today. I know it's the middle of the day and everyone's probably scrambling at the funeral home to get ready for their nightly afternoon viewing. So I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Thank you. Oh, one last question. Chris, I don't know how to answer that question. Okay, I guess the last question was about the chat could be downloaded, but I don't think it can because of it being YouTube Live. So I'm sorry. But again, reach out to me and we can chat about anything. Happy to help. Thank you guys.